It's Monday morning. Still just out here walking. Like always. I don't have the test results back yet. I imagine it'll be later this afternoon, and probably by noon if they don't have them to me, I'll probably call them and see what's going on. But yeah, still alive. Fever is 101 again this morning. Figures. I woke up and I thought, man, I'm not even running a fever. I feel great. I took my temperature. Dang, 101. I realized I was all covered up, so I was warm. So I was just, I'd been asleep or whatever. As soon as I got uncovered, I was like, oh yeah, I'm freezing now. And it's not that cold. Oh. See this little rabbit? Really white. Can you see it? Oh, there it goes. Hello, little bunny. You're cool. I'm just walking. So, anyway, I was bored, just out here walking by myself, so thought I'd talk to you guys for a minute. Because I got nothing to say though, so see you guys here in a little bit, hopefully. I'll have my test results. Don't have any projects planned today. I've done all my kind of light duty work that I can do for now. Here in a day or so, we'll have to move the cows again, and that'll be, again, a pretty easy move, I think. Just kind of push them out of one pasture into another one. Yeah. So, anyway. See you guys in a minute. Tuesday morning. Did not get my test results back yesterday. COVID test, that is. So, it's too bad. I feel pretty good this morning. Slept pretty good last night. My fever still persistent, keeps coming back, but it doesn't seem as bad. So today I might see if I can go without Tylenol and see if it doesn't spike too much. And I don't know, we'll see. I might try to experiment a little bit. It's also not been responding to the Tylenol as well. I've been taking a lot of Tylenol just to keep that fever at bay. So I may experiment a little bit today. It's supposed to be windy today. I was thinking as I was walking here, I mean, it's beautiful. It's like 74 degrees outside is what my phone says, and it feels every bit of it. It's nice. So I was thinking it'd be a great day to drive the tractor down the side of the road here and spray all this stuff. And the wind's supposed to pick up this later this afternoon. So this wouldn't take long. I could do this whole row in probably, I don't know, 30 minutes. And then maybe go back and do some of these other fence rows as well. If it gets real windy though, I don't want to risk it, because, if it blows into my neighbor's garden or something, I don't want to kill their garden. That'd be bad. They'd be mad at me. So, this time wasn't me. I was quarantined this whole time. Now they can see me. So, anyway, just a quick update. Hopefully we'll get those results back today, and might get some spraying done. Just for the record, this is all this involves. Spraying this fence line. Literally just sitting here spraying. So, not overexerting myself, don't worry. Okay. I'm out here spraying, right? And I come across this. My whole fence is taken down right here. Man. That's not cool. I hadn't seen the cows earlier this morning. I figured they're just back over here where I let them in yesterday. They have access to this pasture still, But, man, how's my whole fence just taken down like that? Doesn't look like it was cut. Just driving along spraying this fence line when I noticed it. We have a problem here, guys. Hang on a second, let's see what I find. Well, this looks like the majority of them are up here in the shade trees. Normal. Calves are with them and everything. I'm gonna bet I've got some that got out though. So we're gonna go park the tractor. We're done spraying fence for now. And fix that fence. And then I'm gonna go figure out if I can get a count on these girls. See if I'm missing anyone. That's a big hole in the fence. The fence was dragged towards the road, so I mean it looks like they got out. At least some of them did. Maybe they're back in. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, on second thought, looking at this, see that? Somebody cut my fence. It's a weird spot to do it. What's going on? That one too. Focus. See that? The way it's at an angle like that? That's been cut. I left the top piece up. That's weird. Yeah. Yeah. See, it's got kind of a nick in it right there before it's actually cut. Somebody cut my fence. So I think what we're going to do before I fix this is I'm going to call the sheriff and we're going to go ahead and file a report on this. So I'll don my mask and I'll let them know I'm probably COVID positive before they get out here. But I'll just sit out here by this hole and make sure nobody comes through it. And then we'll see if they can get out here. But I'll let them look at it, take pictures, do what they got to do. I think that's the best thing to do. I don't know. We'll go get this tractor put up. Okay, this is fixed. They even cut that bottom strand. I don't know why they didn't cut the top one. Glad they didn't though. It would have been even worse. I'd have had to get a come along out here to pull the fence back together. This isn't as tight as it should be anymore. But I was having calves get through it anyway, so maybe it doesn't make any difference. I'm pissed. They're all hiding in the trees over here. Went across the creek and checked on them real quick. They're all present and counted for. We go try to count these girls. It's gonna be a trick getting them out of the trees though. They like being in there in the shade, and then they're hard to count anyway. So, because they move around too much, especially just with one person. So let's see what we can do. Hopefully nobody's missing. Cows appear to all be here. They're hard to count, like I said, because they're in there. But I think they're all here. I think I got 48 of them total, including the 5 across the creek. So nobody got out. I haven't counted the calves. They're even harder though, because they're also in here, but they don't stand still even as well as the cows do. So for now, it's hot. I'm getting overheated. I can tell. I'm not feeling real great. So I need to go cool off for a little bit. I'm not running a fever, but I'm pretty in tune with my body. I know what's going on. I don't feel bad, but I need to go sit down, is what I'm saying, in the air conditioning for a minute. No, I'm still sick. Feel better this morning, probably like 70%, maybe 80% even. But, it takes it out of you fast. The antibiotics I'm on in particular are very rough. And actually they make you susceptible to sunburn. So, hence my floppy shade hat. So we'll come back later and we'll try to count those calves. The fence is fixed for now. Irritated about that fence though. So Alright, I'm gonna go cool off, both mentally and physically, and we'll come back later this evening when it's cool again. The VA did call me and tell me that they didn't have the test results yet, so that was nice of them. I think they're expecting them today, though, and she did let me know that she'll call as soon as they get them. So I've been pretty pleased with the primary care clinic that I go to there at the VA hospital in Muskogee. So I trust them. They'll get me the results as soon as they have them. So it's just a matter of getting them processed through the labs. So all right, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Sorry about the wind, guys. COVID test did come back today, and came back negative. I was feeling pretty rough up until just a couple hours ago, and then my fever seems to have broke, and honestly, I'm at probably 90%, maybe 95%. So all things considered, I feel pretty good. We're out here. I was just trying to get a count on the calves, and I think I've got a good count on them. They all appear to be here. Just remember that gate, or my fence rather, was cut over here this morning. So anyway, calves and cows all seem to be accounted for, and I'm feeling quite a bit better. So I still won't be going to work tomorrow. That's all right though. So I didn't get last weekend, but looks like I'm gonna get a couple extra days this weekend. And maybe I can get some of that work done that I was trying to do last weekend. So we'll see you guys bright and early in the morning, and we're gonna get started on something. I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do first yet. I'm noticing I've got a lot of calves out here with pink eye. Number 7 right there, pink eye. Number 23 has pink eye right there. Number 21 had pink eye. Number 1 has pink eye. So I think the first thing we need to do in the morning is I have there's a wire gate down there that I can open. I think if I can get them all, make sure I have them all out of this other pasture. In fact, they're almost all out. If they all get out of there, number 14, the calf, is still in there. Gotta get that one. If I can get them all out of what used to be the alfalfa field over there, get them all back in here, then in the morning I'll be able to get them all over there, and that'll put them back in where I can get them into my pens. So first thing tomorrow, might try to work them and get all them calves through the chute and get them treated for that pink eye. So I'm not sure how I'll have this many cases without me catching them, one at a time before. Been sick for, today was day 6, so I've been slacking on my duties a little bit. We'll get caught back up on that though. That's probably first priority. Got to keep the animals healthy. And then after that, I want to start working on that backhoe, I think. So anyway, like I said, see you in the morning. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to do today is try and get cows back from across the creek. So this is my crossing. And as you can see, it's definitely low enough to get across. It's going to be easy. So it's kind of worked out good. I was sick during this really hot spell that we had. Now we've had kind of a cold front still kind of moving in. You guys can probably hear the wind up in the trees. I've got this kind of stagnant spot right here in front of me where the water's not really moving, and it looks to me like it's getting caught up on a bunch of, sticks and moss and stuff right there in those rocks. So I think what I'm gonna do is walk around over this way. I think I can get around over there and just walk over here. I'm just wearing my regular boots. And I got my little shovel with me, and I'll see if I can kind of clear out a little channel right there and get this to kind of, maybe it'll drain a little bit better. I don't really know if that makes any sense, but this is higher than that. So even though it can backflow back around, in fact it is, you can kind of see. If I can get this to drain down a little bit lower, it'll be that much easier. So on me, as I'm setting my fence posts. The other thing I'm going to do, I think I've decided, is up to probably here or so, I'm going to run back to my gate with my rebar fence post with the plastic insulators on top of it, and I'm just going to kind of set those in there permanently. I seem to do this enough. I think it would be worthwhile. It'll save me that many temporary fence posts for whatever I need to do across the creek to get them set up to come back this way. So if it saves me 10 fence posts, then that'll be worthwhile. So, and then it'll just kind of be there waiting on me anytime I need it. So I'll try to clear out this little muck and get this to kind of flow a little bit better. And then we're going to go set some permanent fence posts up there. After that, we'll go across the creek and see kind of where the cows are at, and we'll come up with a plan. Now, my uncle had sent me a bunch of cool stuff. One of the things he sent me was an additional solar charger, and my parents brought me some food out when I was sick, and they brought with them as well the tub of all the cool stuff my uncle sent me. He sent me a bunch of cool books and stuff. I haven't gone through them all yet. I got a lot of reading material though, so that's cool. But I'm gonna get that other fence charger. I've had it sitting out in the sun to make sure it's good and charged, and so I'll go re-energize my trunk line over here and get that hot again, and then we can use my hot wire to get them pushed down over this way, and then create a lane on both sides. And now this will be a lot easier because I know there's 3 calves, there's 5 cows, so we'll get them all together into one group, run them across all at once. Shouldn't be too hard. The hard part's going to be getting them all consolidated to where I want them, but I think I'll be able to just kind of keep stretching and leapfrogging my temporary hot wire fence. It's going to be a lot of work, going to be kind of a pain, but that's my main goal for today, is just to get them back across. And once they're in this pasture over here, then this is the next place all my other cows are going. We'll get them all in here, and if I have time today, we'll go ahead and try to work those calves. I probably won't though. That'll probably be a tomorrow project, and I'm taking tomorrow off of work as well. Today's Wednesday, by the way. And so then tomorrow we'll get them all back in there. I'll treat all those calves that have pink eye, and then probably give them one more day over here, and then we're going to kick them over to this next pasture. And from there, I'd like to get back on my rotational grazing, but it may be kind of futile because I'm going to run out of that pretty quickly over there, and then I'm not sure where the next move is from there. So the pasture up by my camper, it's just not really ready, but it does have some grass in it, so maybe I'll turn them out on that for a little while and just do kind of short, big rotations kind of all around the front pastures here. And yeah, in the meanwhile, it's super windy, but while I'm doing all that rotating, hopefully the wind will calm down, and then I can get in here on this side and start trying to do some spraying. It's still very wet over there, so I don't know how well that's going to go, but we'll find out. Perfect. This is that fence charger my uncle sent me. See, it's a little bit bigger, nicer than the one I have. This is a 10 mile, so that's pretty cool. I say it's nicer than the one I have. I have this one now too, so I was having some trouble with it, and I couldn't get it to turn on, so I brought it back up. I thought, well, maybe the battery's dead. If you hadn't used it in a while, maybe it just needs a new battery. So I'd been setting it out to charge, like I said, but if the battery's just old. But I went out and I pulled the battery out and I put a meter on it, and it was at 6.3 volts, and it's a 6-volt battery, so that's normal. And so I took the front face of it off there, and the problem was one of the little connectors, the switch, is right underneath here. You guys see it? Yeah, it's right underneath, right here where it says on-off switch. And so I took it apart and I was looking at it. One of the connectors had kind of come loose in there, and so I was checking with the meter, and it wasn't working right. So I was able to just wiggle those connections and kind of get them on there better. Now it's working, so pretty cool. He sent me this fence tester. I don't know how this works, so we're just going to try it out real quick. I don't know if it needs a battery, or it's got a power button on it. It doesn't do anything though. It's got this ground wire. Just have this ground wire in the ground right here maybe, and then you touch it to your fence. Ah, yeah, it just comes right on. It's telling me that I got a ground in that direction. Well, isn't that cool? That's probably because it's not connected at that end. It's probably literally just sitting on the ground. So, well, let's ride it out that way and let's go see what's going on. Hey, that's pretty slick. I like it. So, let's go see what that ground's all about. There you go. pretty cool. So got the other piece of line stretched out there, and well, I noticed, let this stop real quick. So I thought that this was picking up just directly off of the line here whenever you touched it. But look, whenever you get close to it, it already starts picking it up. So that means there's an inductor in here, and so the voltage that's going through this line, it's somehow picking it up, which is interesting, because this will be DC voltage. I would have thought it's coming off a DC battery, but that means that this must be like a high frequency alternating current. See, without contacting it. I wonder if it works if I don't have contact to ground. We get away from it a little bit. Give it a second, right? It dies. As we start getting close, though, right there, turns it back on. So, pretty interesting. Actually, let me make sure I had a good ground on that. Let's test it again. Yep, okay. So, cool. No voltage leaking to ground. This little charger's cool. So, that's really interesting. I'm going to have to figure that out. I had assumed that was DC, but it would make sense that would be a high frequency AC. I'll have to look into that. That's interesting. So, all right, let's go start closing them in. Oh, another note that I thought was interesting is number 19 was on the wrong side of the hot wire. And as I was going to move her across, now this wire hasn't been hot in probably 2 weeks, but she still respected it. She still wouldn't touch it. I had to run her kind of along the wire for a little ways, and eventually I was able to. She was just kind of going in circles, so I was able to. You can grab these things right here. You just twist them, and then you can put the fence down by the ground. So I was able to do that, and then she kind of walked over and was able to step over it and get over on the right side. But thought that was cool, though, that even after a couple weeks of that wire not being hot, they still hadn't tested it, or at least she hadn't. And she believed that it was hot this whole time, so pretty cool. So I think you guys can kind of see what's going on, but we got a fence right here in front of me. And you see there's another one off over here. The cow's sandwiched in the middle. So this leads to my gate over here to either side of it, so I got to go get my orange fence and stuff across. I may not even do that this time. There's only those 3 calves and the water's really low. I think they'll just follow the big ones, so I may try to I may regret it, but I think I'm going to try not using that orange fence this time. But I've got just a little bit more fence post to go set up kind of through the creek, and we'll be ready. We'll just open this gate up over here, and then I'll walk behind them and just push them all through. So I've got them all in there right now. I said there was 5 cows earlier. There's 6. I was mistaken. I don't know why I said 5. Anyway, yeah. So this is ready. And this is how I want to do it. I think from now on, even when there's all 50 of them and however many calves or whatever case. Jeez, I hate these fines. These things are so freaking miserable to walk through. I hate this crap. Cannot wait to kill it. Can't wait. Hopefully the wind's down tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. Almost got them all over here. Other ones are hanging out under the tree over there. Let's see if these last couple calves figure their way in. Come on, little guys. This one with the limp here. Remember, she's the one with the bad hips. She's not hurt or anything. Okay, so once I get them all in here tomorrow, we'll be working calves. Dang it, that's going to go the wrong way. It's going to be difficult. There's always one. And like this one right here that's hanging out right there by the gate, I think he can't figure it out because I don't know how well he can see right now. Hopefully it's not too late. Maybe he's going to figure it out. Once they go blind, there's nothing you can do about it, But anyway, we're going to try and get all these calves through the head gate. Yeah, follow your buddy. Follow your buddy. Turn. Walk this way. Come on. Yeah, got them all. So obviously we'll go check and make sure they actually all followed me here. Anyway, we got to get them in the head gate and get them all treated for pink eye. So I caught the 2 of them the other day in the pasture and did them. And I'm noticing, yesterday I noticed got a lot more of them. So that's been a huge problem out here. Part of that has been the crummy forage that I've had them in. And I don't know though. It's been a bigger problem than I'd anticipated. So anyway, we'll get them all in there. We'll get them all treated, and we'll go from there. So feels good. I've got the entire herd in this pasture now. No more cows across the creek. My phone ran out of storage while I was moving them, so I'm sorry I didn't really get to show you guys that. But it went really well though. Once I got them in the lane, I just opened the gate up, strung up the hot wire straight across the fence, and just slowly rode the 4-wheeler behind them, and they walked right through. So no big deal. So good day. Nice to have them all in one place again. So all right, we'll go make sure I don't have any stragglers. We'll get this hole in the fence patched up. So if you guys remember, I kind of had to run this wire kind of around some of these rose bushes and stuff. I was wondering if that would cause any ground, but I didn't have a good way to test it. Now I do, so let's find out. It would appear that, no, not grounded. So, at all. So that's good. I figured, wood's an insulator, and plants are, they're woody plants. They're not, you're not going to make a 2x4 out of them, but rose bushes are probably a pretty good insulator. So I didn't figure that would be a good path to ground, but now I know. Back over here looking at the welders. Now the cows are all moved and everything's in order that way. So first thing I did is pulled this back. I figured there was going to be a fuse under there. There was. This is it. 30 amp bus fuse. It is blown. That's my problem. That's why welder won't try to crank, because the fuse to the solenoid is blown. While I'm looking at this, I'm also noticing though that this is the battery lead. Just goes straight to the battery, and so that's loose in there. Now that's all rusty, so we're going to replace these battery cables post haste. First things first though, I got to go see if I can source one of these fuses, and then the question is, why did the fuse blow? So did the fuse blow because the starter is locked up? Did the fuse blow because it was old and got water in it and it was corroded or something? It doesn't look that way. So something caused that fuse to blow, and that is the actual problem. The fuse being blown is only a symptom. So we need to figure that out. Could be that because this connection is all corroded and it looks terrible, that it was having to draw way too much in order to try to start, and so that caused it to blow. Not sure. So anyway, gotta go find one of these fuses before I can do anything else, and we'll get that replaced. We'll have a few extras on hand, because I imagine I'll blow 2 or 3 of them in the process of figuring out what's causing it to blow. Now it is possible that it was just old and weak and it blew. That can happen. So I might put the new one in, it might fire right up. So for now, I think the hardware store is still open. Not for very much longer though. So I'm gonna take this with me, and let's go see if he's got one of these. Alright, hardware store had these. They're a little bit different. These are AGCs. The one that was in it was an MDL, but I figure we'll put one in there and it'll at least let me keep troubleshooting. So just put one in, let's see what happens here. Oh, nothing. Alright, let me pull that fuse out and see if it just blew it again, and it may not have been related to the problem here. So what was I checking last time? I forgot. Oh, no, don't remember. It wasn't it though. So I pulled the starter out. Looking at it now, you can see there's some, the commutator there doesn't look great. It's a little bit kind of dirty. Focus. It's not terrible though. The brushes, they look nice and they look good. There's plenty of them left. Kind of interesting. It's got 3 brushes. 1, 2, 3. It's over there somewhere. This side. Camera doesn't like it being this close. So this doesn't look that bad to me. I don't think the starters are the problem. The last time I turned it on, it kind of acted like it was going to start. It kind of bumped, and I did see some smoke or something over here. So I do have a problem. I'm just not quite sure what it is at this point. So I'm going to put this back together and put it back on the machine. And I'll probably go ahead and pull this black cover off the back here, which is kind of a trick because the governor's connected to it over there. So, and then the fuel pump's connected to it as well. But I need to look inside there and see what else is in there. I don't know what other wiring is on there. You know, it's not that complicated. There shouldn't be any other wires in there. It had to have been the starter that smoked a little bit. So I may be wrong. It may be bad. The only way to really tell would be to measure the motor, and I don't have a measure on hand. So, or to take it to maybe a parts store, might be able to bench test it for me. But yeah, I don't know. For now, I think I'm going to put it back together and probably put it back on the machine, and we'll see if I can keep troubleshooting from there. All right, caught most of them in here with me. Most of the other ones are out here. I'll be able to get them in here shortly. I had a few that ran off, but I don't think I needed any of them anyway. Oh, they're so loud. So, first things first, I need to start getting these calves sorted out. Find the ones that are sick, we'll get them treated. And then, man, flies have gotten really bad. I think kind of while I've got them in a tight group, I'll run up and mix up some of my fly spray real quick. See number 12 there with the discharge in her eye, his eye, he's getting treated. See number 25 there, looks good. Don't need to do anything to you. But we'll get these poor little guys treated. Number 1 here is really bad. I think he's blind in at least one eye. That may be permanent. So anyway, we'll get him treated, get the infection stopped, and get to these other ones before it gets any worse. So got medicines already over by the table, and so yeah, let's get going, see if I can get a few of them in the alleyway here. The plan is when I catch the cows, I'm gonna try to just sort them into these pens and keep them off separate and try to get the calves separated. So it's kind of hard to do, especially by myself, but I think I can make it work. And like I said, I'm gonna run up real quick and get some fly spray, and we'll start taking care of that. So number 1, I tried to get him in the alleyway here. He ran in between these 2 gates, so I just kind of chained that off and pinched him in there. Kind of a makeshift squeeze chute. So I think I can treat him just like this. Let's see if he gets out. Nope. Okay, so I'm gonna try to treat him squeezed in here between the gates. All right, we're about halfway done. Actually, I think we're over halfway done. That's all I got left. A few over there hanging out in the shade. These ones in the alley, they're next up. So let's keep going. Going pretty good today. Not too many problems. Better close this gate. They're starting to kind of figure out the head gate and the chute and the way it all works. I've been through it a few times at this point. I did ride back out in the pasture, and a couple of those calves I actually did need to get in here. So I've got them now. They're some of the ones waiting in the shade over there. Let's get these girls out of the alley. Once I get them in here, they don't have any water, so they get thirsty. It's hot today, so we'll get them through here as quick as we can. Get them turned out back to the pasture where they have pond and shade trees and all kinds of good stuff. So, all right, let's go. Look at these flies. Goodness, it's terrible. Spray them all. Soak everybody down. Man, they got bad flies. They don't like getting sprayed with this stuff, but whoa. Some spring runniness over there. really going to help with the flies on them though. Since it's not going to rain for a while, this ought to stay on them for a couple weeks. Get you, little guy, too. Oh, he got some at spring runniness. Not out of him, but on him. Alright. Oh, yeah. Spring, well, look at that. Flies are all pissed now. Buzzing around everywhere like crazy. So again, this stuff's actually a poison, so it's not just going to keep them off of them, it actually kills them. So it should help with general just fly population control. I remember that calf that had an abscess on his leg the other day across the creek. Sit still, bud. This is him. See, he kind of got 2 holes there. I'm kind of thinking that might be a snake bite. Pretty bad holes. Pretty nasty. I don't know how much you can tell, but this material, his skin's kind of black and almost necrotic looking, but it's kind of hard to tell because I don't know. So it's not really oozing anymore. So I called the vet, and what they recommended was first of all antibiotics and then some sort of a wound care spray. So I borrowed this from my neighbor, iodine, lidocaine. So I'm just going to soak that hole in his leg with this. Of course, they warned me not to get it on my skin because it's stains really bad, and the first thing I did was get it all over my hand. Figures. Anyway, so we're going to soak that down with this, and we'll give him some antibiotics. All right, that's the last of them. Treated a bunch of pink eye today. I found two cows, adult animals that had pink eye. So I hadn't noticed them before, but got them treated, and lots of calves. So to look at my notes here and see how many there was, but probably 15 or 20 animals total we had to treat today. So good deal though, got them all done, so feel good about it. So I think now I'm gonna try and get some chemical mixed up and go across the creek and start spraying over there. So it's still kind of wet in places. I may end up having some trouble, but I'm gonna get over there and we're gonna try to get it done, and then we'll get my neighbor out there to mow it after I've got some kill on it for a few days. So yeah, for now actually I'm gonna take a quick break and go eat lunch, and I'm thirsty. I need a drink, so I'm gonna go get some water and eat some lunch, and then we're gonna go do some more spraying. Alright, so we're only mixing one toad at a time out here because it's very soft. See the mud on the tires there? I almost got stuck as soon as I drove in. So we're going to come over and we're going to do this half first, and that one tote should cover all of this and still have some left over to start over here. I will not be spraying kind of this area out here because it's mostly just grass. This is a little bit different mix. What I've got in here, it's the same Grazon as before, but then I've also got something called Remedy in there, and that is specifically a brush killer. Will do really good on all this type of crap and my vines and super. Guys, see that big blue tractor down there brush hogging my pasture for me? Love it. Called my neighbor earlier and said, you know, hey, if this is ready to be mowed, if you happen to get the time, you know, it's not a whole lot. I said, if not, don't worry about it, you know, I'll get to it later. She said, man, I'm super busy, I don't think I'll have time. And while I was down spraying on the other side of the creek there, she'd sent me some text. She's like, hey, I have time to run over and mow this one real quick. I didn't get it till I got up here. I was sitting here refilling, got half a tank, finish up over there, and I looked up and there she was mowing. So love it. So that's going to get mowed. That's good. That'll reset that grass so that it'll start growing again. So awesome. Well, check it out. So I jumped on my little brush hog and helped her. I did like one tiny little corner over there. She did all the rest of it. So this would have taken me the entire rest of the weekend to do, and probably a couple days after work next week. So yeah, she did me a huge solid getting this knocked out for me. I'm very grateful, very appreciative. And she even got the other little meadow over there done on the other side. It used to be alfalfa field. So excellent. Saved my weekend. Now I get to work on backhoe and the welder. So speaking of that, I think the first thing I'm going to do is go pull that starter back off and have it ready. Actually, you know what? I may not, because O'Reilly's doesn't even open until 9. So I've been waking up around 5 anyway. I'll just do it in the morning. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go eat dinner, I think. But awesome, glad to have this done. It's all mowed down, looking good. So now, like back here, you can kind of see that dark spot. Those are weeds. I haven't sprayed any of this, and I don't think I'm going to, because while I do have some of these yellow buttercup flowers, there's also a ton of clover and other legumes and stuff in here that are not only good for the ground, but they're good for the cattle. So I want to keep those. And if I spray for the little buttercups and stuff like what's back over here, I'll kill all of that off. And then I'll kind of have to start over on legumes. I don't want to do that, so I'm just not going to spray it. The areas like this big clump right over here, I'll come in and I'll spot spray those once they start growing again. There's a couple spots like that. But I'll spot spray them and just kill off those big areas, and then just kind of do spot control on trees and vines up around the ponds and stuff like that. But not going to broadcast spray this whole thing. So the reason you got to mow this is because once the grass seeds out, the leaves of the grass actually stop growing. So now that we've cut the tops off, it doesn't have a seed head anymore. That's going to make the grass start growing again. Now it's hot and it's been dry, so it's going to be slower than it was this spring. These girls back over here, though, they're not going to be over there where they're at for very long, and then they're going to move over there. I can't turn quite all the way. And they'll be over there for a little while. And then they'll spend a little bit of time over here, and then they'll go back over here, is the plan. Now, I also got all my spraying across the creek done, so we're going to give that about not quite a week or so to die. And then she's going to go mow that for me as well and get that knocked down. Now that I will probably have to spray again, but that's okay though. So we're going to get a good initial kill on it so that a lot of that stuff won't come back. We'll mow it down short and let the grass try to grow. And then I'll hit it with selective again. And then at some point we'll have cows back over there to mow it once we've got the grass growing good. So everything's going according to plan. Very happy. It's been a very good day. So time for dinner and a cold beer, I think.